Welcome back. We are dealing with a very difficult situation. Our dog Chewy, who's almost 18 years old, is not really doing well. And it's been very tough for us.
Here to talk about.
We don't know what to do. So, joining us today is Dr. Jennifer Jellison, a veterinarian you know very well, who's been so helpful. You were with us when we got Chewy.
I was. So I remember you asking, should I get a dog? And Joaquin was running around. He was about this tall.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a couple months later, you got one from North Shore. So, you know, this dog is part of your family, part of your history, part of your kids growing up and moving out, so a marker of time. So there's so much, so deep that it's one of those impossible things.
Yeah, how do we know? Because that's the big question we've been asking each other. How do we know if they're enjoying their life?
Well, you can always look for really obvious signs of illness. So, you know, is he eating? Is he drinking?
Drinking, yes.
Is he
Eating,
walking
no.
around? Do you find him urinating and laying in it?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay. Is he falling?
A lot of falling.
Okay. Does he know who he is?
We don't know.
We don't know.
No.
Okay. She,
right.
But she's been walking into walls, bumping into things.
She seems
her
really
head
off
is down
balance.
and she's very unsteady.
Also, like sliding, like her pads don't really grip anymore.
So it's probably hard for her with her back and her legs. So arthritis, which is not end of life, but treatable. But also what starts to happen is they start to get afraid. I mean, so when we talk about suffering, we don't talk about just, does it like, ouch, hurt, but am I suffering and anxious because
she's very afraid.
I'm afraid and maybe I'm losing my house training and I know I shouldn't do that. And so it's a real subtle form of suffering per se.
Right.
And then what I have people do is come into my office for a quality of life discussion. So I do a physical, I go through all the, are we dehydrated, do we have a heart murmur, those kind of things, and then I just turn to you and I say, you tell me, what are you seeing? What are you feeling?
Yeah, so we're seeing the vet today at noon, actually.
Yeah.
So
And
for that very...
Yeah, for that evaluation. And then what you need to realize is that Chewy right now, when you go into that appointment, you don't have to decide when you're there.
Right.
You can go, okay, I'm gonna take this information, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna think about it. Sometimes I put time frames on it, and you keep track. Was the end of today a good day? Was it a bad day? And it keeps you honest. So, you know, in about 3 days, you can look back and go, okay.
We don't have so much good days and bad days. We have like good hours and bad hours.
So you might even want to break it into half days.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you struggle with is guilt.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So tell me about your guilt.
So I've got a lot. I mean, I have so much guilt. I feel like, you know, as you referenced, my kids were so young when we got Chewy.
I know.
That I felt like I didn't give her enough, like, puppy time. Like, I didn't let, I forced her to grow up too fast.
She loves you.
No, I know.
She loves you.
But I feel like the kids left the house, and then Chewy and I really like spent a lot of time together. You know, and I was like, this dog is amazing.
I also think that, you know, there's the fine line between being selfish and wanting this dog to be around always.
Yes.
And the other side of that would be that it's not so good for the dog if they're suffering.
So what I tell people is this is the hardest gift and the kindest gift.
Right.
Okay? So you look at all these years that Chewy has given to you and loved you and accepted you no matter what you've done or tripped over her or, you know, whatever.
1,000 times tripped over Chewy.
And now it's your turn to give back. And that's the hardest thing of all. And that's why you want to take your time so that your guilt, you don't ever want to leave this and go, I feel guilty that I didn't do enough.
Right.
So that's where your vet can help you. Your vet may say, you know, maybe if we do X and Y, we can have a little more time. And then that takes your guilt away, because then when it is time, you can say, now I know we did what we could.
Because we don't want her to have a miserable quality of life.
And you get some peace.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back with more in just a minute.
We're back with Dr. Jennifer Jellison, who's helping us talk about dogs and advanced age and transitioning. And you know, the one thing that we haven't discussed is we have Lena, who's 4 years old. And although, you know, I really do believe that having Lena has extended Chewy's life.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Having a partner will do that in your life one way
Although
or another.
I think she tolerates Lena, which is really fun to watch.
Tolerates Lena,
Right.
but she's even stopped putting Lena in her place. And I know that Lena is probably aware that there's a dynamic shift.
Yes.
Like, should we be concerned about?
I'm sure that Lena knows Chewy is changing.
Yeah.
Lena knows that you are changing. Okay. Dogs really pick up on patterns. So, and dogs grieve. So I think you need to be prepared that when this occurs, Lena will need all your love, and you will need her to love.
Yeah.
I mean, so you want to stick to her patterns. Patterns are very important for dogs. So you want to make sure if this is the time you ate, this is when you eat it. This is your blanket. This is, you know, when you get your blanket and that kind of thing. And then that kind of extends to kind of I call it like a triangle. So there's you, and now there's the children, and there's the dog and the doctors. So the work of the doctor, I feel like, is to really try to mesh what you need, what the children need, and it's never the same.
Right.
So we all grieve differently.
Right.
So it's very important that everyone has their time that they need, or someone may say, I don't want anything to do with this. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone else may say, I have to go give Chewy a milkshake.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
So there is no wrong way to do this. And even when you're doing the process, someone may say, I'm out.
I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and there is no, and it's so fluid. It could change from day to day.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think when you put a dog to sleep, it's, again, do you want to come? You don't have to come. Do you want to say goodbye here? Do you want to stay? And I have family members who change their mind even as we're preparing.
Sure.
So it's just, you have to realize that you are allowed to do whatever you want to grieve your dog and then give your dog the care it wants.
And I understand there are veterinarians that will, like, come to you.
They
come
will.
into the
They
home.
will. I've done that for some of my clients. Yeah.
Right.
And so again, that's that trust thing. Go with someone you know, you trust, and you just say, "Tell me,
Tell me what to do.
help me."
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate
Dr.
it. This is
Jellison.
so helpful.
You've been really, really helpful. For more tips on caring for your senior pet, visit our website. We'll be right back.